Well, gang, we're getting vulnerable up in Luchland today. I get that this isn't the type of video most of you guys subscribed to see, so if you just want to go ahead and skip this one, no hard feelings. But a fun fact about me is sometimes when I'm having a bad day and I need to go somewhere that requires a lot of walking, I will use a cane. This guy right here, actually. Old Reliable. I was actually gifted another one recently by my brother. Here, let me grab that. Look at this thing, dude. This one's got some weight to it. This is for when I'm feeling pimping, I suppose. This will be my pimp cane. But I use canes because if I have to walk for a long period of time, I tend to get dizzy and I need something to lean on, and they do help with that. But I do try to not use them as much as possible. If I feel really bad, I will just do everything in my power to not leave the house, because in all honesty, I am very embarrassed by the fact that I need them. I've briefly mentioned it before in a couple of videos, but 2 years ago, I developed something called postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, POTS for short. You may have heard about it recently because in the last few years it has become a lot more common. It can be triggered by viral illnesses, and we had a pretty big one of those drop back in 2020. It's a form of dysautonomia, which is a malfunction of your autonomic nervous system, and that's the part of your nervous system responsible for controlling things like breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, digestion, etc. The main thing that POTS is known for is a drastic increase in your heart rate when you go from a seated to a standing position. I'll go ahead and include a clip of my pulse doing that. It is kind of interesting to see how quick it jumps. But if that were its only symptom, I would be chilling. It's not. Some other things that POTS comes with is nausea, dizziness, heat intolerance, chest pains, shortness of breath, brain fog, and extreme fatigue. I am tired all the time. It's often disregarded as anxiety by many medical professionals, which makes getting help way harder than it needs to be. I actually had an ER experience so bad that it put me off of getting help for almost a year. The cardiologist I see now, he's great, and at my first appointment with him, he said specifically that doctors don't tend to take on patients with POTS because it is so time-consuming and involves a lot of trial and error because so many different things help or harm different people depending on the case. The degree to which people are affected by POTS also varies quite dramatically. Some people are diagnosed and continue to live their life as normal. Others, I think the number is about 1 in 4, develop it so severely that they have to drop out of school or quit their job. And that's the boat that I was in. I had to drop out of grad school, not once, but twice. If all the tech billionaires dropped out once and I already have 2 under my belt, dude, I think I'm setting myself up for trillionaire status. I could sit here and tell you guys that I've been a fighter about the whole thing and that I was always stronger than what happened to me, but I would be lying through my teeth. I did not take it in stride at all. I kind of shrunk away and stopped participating in the world. I was so angry for such a long time, and some days I still am, because you are always told that your 20s are supposed to be this time where you're solidifying your independence from the world and you're figuring out who you are, growing as a person, learning things. And suddenly I felt as though I had this thing on my plate that just took all of that away from me. Almost overnight, out of nowhere, I became a prisoner in my own body. I felt betrayed by my own body. And more than anything, I just felt so alone. Because everybody in my life cared and they were supportive, but nobody could relate to the feeling of having to grieve not only your past life, but the future that you had envisioned for yourself. In reality, my 20s weren't stolen from me. I am still growing, just not in ways that I had expected to, and I am definitely learning. I'm learning what it means to be resilient. I'm learning to find joy in solitude and being alone and enjoying my own company. And I know it gets rehashed a lot, but I have really learned the importance of compassion for other people because you really just have no idea what someone might be going through. I guess I'm talking about this now because it really would have benefited me to hear from somebody who had been through it that I was not alone in these complex feelings I was having. Way more people are going through this sort of thing than you would ever even expect, or at least that I expected. The CDC estimates that 6 in 10 Americans have at least one chronic illness. And Dysautonomia International references a study that says somewhere between 3 and 6 million Americans, the vast majority of which are young women, have POTS and are going through the exact same thing that I am. And recognizing that is so important, dude. I cried like a baby the first time I met another girl with POTS because I felt so validated in my emotions and in my experiences. That girl is super cool, by the way. She's living her life. I wish I could be more like her. I'm also here to tell myself and anybody else with an invisible condition that if something helps you, don't be ashamed of it. If somebody's gonna judge me for needing a cane to go grocery shopping just because I look healthy otherwise, that's a them problem and they suck. And I get that I could be seen as a hypocrite for not really being able to follow through on my own advice, but I'm working on it. And part of me hopes that by immortalizing my words on the internet, I'll be able to follow them better. My dad and I have been talking about me getting a rollator, which, if you don't know, is like a little walker with wheels on it, and it has a chair in the middle so you can just stop and sit down and take a break if you need it. And it is a good idea. He thinks that I'll be able to go do more, and he's right, dude. I would be rolling around town all day in that thing, but I'm still working through that internalized embarrassment or shame of needing a mobility aid. Working on it. So if we could maybe make rollators the next trendy cool thing, I would kind of appreciate it. And to anybody watching out there who has POTS, I just want to say, be patient with yourself. It will take more patience than you've probably ever had, but this takes time, so just be patient with yourself. They say that over half of people that get POTS see significant improvement of their symptoms over 5 years, and there's even a percentage of people that see it go away entirely. So there is hope for me, and there is hope for you. Your life is not over, it's just different, and your new normal doesn't have to be worse than your old one. And I'm saying that as somebody that let the darkness of it all, I guess you could say, consume me for a very long time. It wasn't until somewhat recently that I decided I wanted to crawl myself out of this hole that I've been hiding in for all this time. I am not the same person, and I am not at the same level as I was before all of this happened, but I am definitely better off than I was when it first started. When I first got sick, I couldn't stomach solid food. I needed help getting up to go to the bathroom. I think it was about 20 pounds in the course of a month just because I couldn't eat. My parents thought I was dying, which I feel so guilty about, but that wasn't my fault. I thought I was dying too before I knew what was going on. But with some lifestyle adjustments, time, and a very inconvenient pill I have to take 3 times a day, I am eating and moving around my house just fine. I have a few goals, things I want to be able to do. I guess you could call them motivating factors that make me want to get past this part in my life. The big one is traveling. I really want to go see the world without the fear that I am going to have a flare-up and it's going to ruin everything. And honestly, the biggest part holding me back with that is probably a mental block, but I'm working on it. Another goal I have is to be able to go out dancing again. I love dancing so much. I was never any good at it, but it's just so much fun. I went dancing a lot in college. One of the more important goals is to make sure that my parents don't have to worry about me, because the one person that this has probably affected more than me, not more than, just as much as me, is my mother. To see how my health has affected her, just like, it breaks my heart. Yeah, sorry this wasn't a fun video, but it's one I've wanted to make since I started uploading, so here we are. If you want to learn more about dysautonomia or POTS, I will include some links in the description. My dad thinks that they will find a cure for this, but I don't think that'll happen until we get awareness up, so be aware. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, I will try not to do mushy, vulnerable stuff like this again. I will catch you guys later.